Hello, welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today I would like to talk about a wonderful sort of vintage lens that I picked up a little while ago. This is for my Nikon F mount film camera. I have a Nikon FE2, and this is the Nikon Micro-NIKKOR 55mm f2.8 AIS lens. And this thing is fantastic. So Nikon calls this the micro. It's actually basically a macro lens. The whole point of this is that it has the ability to focus really close. We'll get into the actual specs and everything about this, but this lens was produced from 1979 through 2020. So a very, very long production history for this lens, and it's because it's so good. They just stopped making it in 2020, so if you're trying to find a used version of this, you'll have a huge breadth of years to choose from. This one, as far as I could tell from the serial number, was made at least probably in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. So it feels very new, it looks new, it operates perfectly. I got this on eBay. You can find these for $100 to $200 in really nice condition on eBay. I saw one on Amazon.com for $124. It was used, I'm sure, but up until just a few years ago, you could get these on B&H for, I think they were selling for around $400 new. They don't make them anymore, but there are plenty of them out there, and they're really, really, really worth the price. So as this is a, quote, micro or macro lens, it can focus close. This one goes all the way up to 9.86 inches, or close to that. And it has a 1:2 magnification ratio. So when you're looking at something on the frame in your camera, you're seeing it half size. We'll get into that a little bit more later because there's an accessory you can get for this lens that actually brings that to a 1:1 ratio, so a true macro ratio. But this is a 55mm lens, so it's actually really good for just a normal walking around lens as well. I'll talk about how I've been using this, but I want to go through some of the specs here. The name, as I mentioned, is the Nikon 55mm f2.8 AIS Micro-NIKKOR, or NIKKOR. It is a 35mm lens. It is a focal length of 55mm. The maximum aperture is 2.8, and then the minimum goes all the way to 32. So from 2.8 to 32. It has 7 diaphragm blades, 6 elements in 5 groups. It's manual focus only, and it has the close range correction, or the CRC system in this lens. I have a 28mm f2.8 AIS NIKKOR lens that also has the CRC. So that can focus, I think, even closer than this one can, actually, which is interesting. The front element rotates as you focus. As I mentioned, the closest focal distance is about 0.25 meters, or around 0.9 feet, or 9.86 inches. The magnification ratio is 1:2, so it's half size on your frame. The filter size is 52mm, which is great. I love that almost all of these old Nikkor AI or AIS lenses have the same 52mm front thread, so you don't have to keep getting different filters and things for them. Very nice. The dimensions on this is 60.9mm by 63.5mm, or 2.4 inches by 2.5 inches. The weight is 10.2 ounces, or 286 grams. It is a very dense, robust feeling lens. It's all metal construction. Aluminum, enameled aluminum, there's brass inside, so it's all metal and glass other than this rubber focus ring that you have here. And as I mentioned, the price when it was still new was around $400, but now you can get them from, like I said, anywhere from $100 to $200, a huge range of prices, and most of them seem to be in really nice shape. Because they were made for so long, you can find really, really nice versions of this. And this one, it looks brand new to me. You can tell just by the focus throw and the way it feels, the dampening and everything. It does not feel like some of the older AIS lenses that I've had, or AI lenses. Some of those get really loose. This one is nice and firm, and it's firm enough that if you're doing really fine focusing when you're doing a macro shot, it's not going to jump around the focus, you actually have to try to change where you're focusing. So that's nice. It's maybe slightly firm if you're trying to get a really quick focusing lens if you're out and about on the street. But for a 55mm too, you know, I'm probably going to critical focus more on that. The focus throw is really long if you're getting all the way up to 9.86 inches. But if you're dealing with like infinity to about 2.5 feet, it's pretty short. It's just that range there, and it's pretty easy to get through all of those distances. But that's what you're going to be dealing with when you're trying to photograph just at a normal distance and not trying to go into macro range. I've really been enjoying using this. I have used it as kind of a walking around lens. A lot of people consider 50mm to be a normal focal distance. I typically shoot 28 or 35 on my Nikon FE2, but this is a nice extra option. And then I often have this in my camera bag in case I do want to photograph something really close and get more of that macro view. It's been great. It takes the Nikon HN3 hood, but the front element is so recessed that you don't really need the hood for flaring or anything like that. I typically put the hood on there just to protect the front element. I actually have a black and white, just clear UV filter on here as well, or just a clear filter to protect the lens. But if I take that off, if I can, you can see that the actual front lens is very recessed inside there. So you don't have to worry about flaring or anything like that. But like I said, I put the hood on just to protect the front of it from getting bumped, ruining the threads or anything like that. Now I mentioned that it is a 1:2 magnification ratio. So you're seeing the object on your viewfinder or on the actual frame of the film when you're taking the picture is half size. But if you get this is the PK13 extension tube that Nikon makes. You can still find these online quite easily. And when you put this on the lens, like so, where is the actual dot? Right there. That makes it a 1:1 magnification ratio. So you actually have a life-size representation in the frame when you're taking a macro shot. And they also have a focusing scale for this PK extension tube here in orange. And so if you follow that focusing scale, obviously you're not going to take any pictures of something far away when you have this tube on, but it goes from, I think, 2 inches to 1 inch on the focusing scale here. So this is for really close up. I haven't used this PK13 extension tube very much because I just got it, but I do have some examples of some macro shots that I have taken with this lens, and I'm really impressed with it. I think it looks great. I think it works great. It's really cool to have this option for a film camera. I haven't used it, even though I have an adapter where I could put this on my Canon R6, which is filming this video right now. I haven't really used it for that because I already have a Canon 100mm, or maybe it's the 105mm, I can't remember now, L series macro lens that has 1:1 magnification already, in image stabilization, autofocus, all that good stuff. So if I'm going to be doing digital macro photography, I'm going to use that more modern digital macro photography lens. But being able to throw this on my Nikon FE2 and take some really cool macro shots on film is really nice. It's such a nice lens. It is so well made. It is so satisfying just to use, to actually throw the focus ring. It feels so good in the hand, and it's really sharp. You get excellent results from this thing. So if you have a film camera system that uses the Nikon F mount, which has been in use since I think 1959 all the way up to present, I would highly recommend this Nikon Nikkor Micro 55mm f2.8 lens. It is a fantastic addition. Like I said, you can walk around with it, just take normal photos at 55mm, or if you want to get in close, you can do that with this lens. And then with the PK13 extension tube, you can get even closer. So let me show you some examples of photographs that I have taken with this lens as we close out the video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things, taking a look at the Nikon 55mm f2.8 Micro AIS lens. It's a little beast.